Just want to say congratulations to Ichiro Suzuki. Ichiro, if he saw me, he would vaguely remember me. I played with him in a spring training as a AAA player up and down in games in 2003, and he was very quiet on the bench, playing in the same dugout with him or being in the same dugout with him. He didn't really say a lot. One day I asked him to just like grab his bat and feel it, and he kind of was like, hey, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not asking that anymore. So that was kind of our only interaction at that point. And then I remember he hit a home run one day in Peoria, Arizona, and this ball went like over the pool or into the pool, like in right field. It was crushed. And he came back, grand slam, by the way. And he comes in the dugout, and you go to high five him, and he was just like, my bad, sorry about that, my bad, like perfect English. He was something to be around. Listening to him and Brett Boone in the clubhouse go back and forth was quite a treat. That's my only really memory of him as a player. As a coach, however, he signed with the Marlins in 2015, as he talked about in his Hall of Fame speech, and I was the hitting coordinator, I believe, for that year in the minor leagues and bouncing around in major league camp, minor league camp. Actually, I was doing some interviews that spring with hitters. I have Christian Yelich, I had Jeff Baker, I had a couple other guys I had talked to just about forming our minor league program and having the big leaguers kind of talk about their game plans and approaches and what they hunt at the plate and have that translate to the minor leagues. So I wanted to talk to Ichiro, and he was like, his interpreter was like, hey man, like he doesn't like talking hitting too much. Like what he says and does is like particular to him, and it totally is. Like he had his own weight room. They would bring this like trailer and had his own machines that were designed for him, that he did exercises for his body, and he did them every day. And this dude would like, tireless worker. I don't know how old he was at 2015, but he was not young. And he was running the balls out. He would run the bases in BP, or even when nobody was around, you'd see him on stay-back days when the team would go on the road. He would go run the bases. Or he would go in the outfield and take extra ground balls and like get his throwing position. Like the little things that he talked about, he would do. But last quick story about Ichiro that I have. One day we were at Jupiter, spring training. I was on field. I was way far away from the major league field. I was as far in the back in the minor league side as you could get by the street there in Jupiter, and at the complex for the Marlins. And somebody said, hey, the stay back big leaguers, meaning the guys who didn't go on the road for the game. There's some guys that stay back, like they don't take all the starters. They usually leave about half of them. Those guys have to hit BP, and the coach that's supposed to throw it, something's wrong with him, or he's sick or something, he can't go. Can you go throw? I was like, yeah, sure. So they get a cart. They get the cart. They drive me to the major league field, hop out. I don't know who I'm throwing to. I have no idea. I just know I have to go throw a group for BP. 15 minutes, I'm back to my job. I get there. It's Giancarlo Stanton, Ichiro, and I don't really care or remember who the other two guys were. And so I was kind of super geeked, actually, to throw to those two, obviously, just for the fireworks that could potentially happen. And then Ichiro is just Ichiro. Like, I'm going to throw to Ichiro, right? And back then, my BP was firm, but strikes, like, for the most part, all the time. Like, cutters at times. Like, if there's any of my former players that watch this, they're like, dude, you blew my bat up. Yeah, it was a cutter, but it was a strike probably. You just didn't like it as a cutter. It was in the zone, a little hot at times, but for the most part, people liked it. I would say, like, unless you didn't like hard BP, I threw hard and firm, like Latino style, like let it eat, right? That's how I liked hitting off of, and that's how I like to throw. Now I can still throw that way. I just have to sit down really close to you. I can't do it like I used to. Anyway, so we get it going. We're throwing. And Giancarlo is in a bad mood and just looks like he doesn't feel like being there. Like, I just didn't want to hit today, and they're making me hit type thing, and he's just tapping the ball around. And it was just kind of anticlimactic. Wherever I throw it, and I actually said, hey, man, you want me to throw it a little bit? But he's like, yeah, whatever. That's like, whatever. I was like, all right, cool. I ain't worried about it. So Ichiro gets in, and I'm like, all right. Whew. I throw it. I almost hit him. He does his thing, and it comes inside, and he was kind of like, whoa, kind of looked at me. And I was like, oh man, I almost smoked Ichiro. That's not good, you know? Not good at all. Now I'm like actually thinking about it. And normally something I'm like the best at. In all my coaching stuff that I do, you know, I'm not the best flipper, you know, pop-ups to the infield aren't always great, but I can throw this BP. And now I just almost hit Ichiro. So now I went like alligator arm, cutter away, alligator arm, cutter away. And then and Ichiro's kind of getting a little pissed now. And I'm like, oh gosh, this is embarrassing. Now there's people watching. And I'm like, all right, you just gotta let it eat, man. So I just freaking throw it as hard as I could and just let it go. Just hopefully, I knew I wasn't gonna hit him but I wasn't quite sure because my hands were getting like really, and I'm like grabbing dirt, like. But anyway, I'm gonna let it get. And this dude hits one to freaking like almost to the Cardinals side. He goes wah and yells ah or something as he hits it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. And then he gets back in. I'm like, here we go. Do it again. Whack it. Another one. Whack. I mean, I'm boom. Now you're confident because no matter where I throw it, he's hitting a homer. And then I threw finally that little cutter away that used to piss off my players, and he went and smoked it right over there. Now, from a hitting perspective, what was he working on? This guy never swung like this in the game, right? And I'd seen this before and heard stories about this before. When I played with him, even though I never quite was around when his group was hitting. When I was in the minor leagues, my group was usually way away from his group when he was on the field hitting. So I've seen it a couple times, but not like I did that day, up close and personal, especially throwing. Can't be more close than that. And then, you know, we go to the next round. Giancarlo comes in, tap, 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 tap. Ichiro, bam, bam, homer, homer, homer. And so what he was doing was working on his move through the ball. A lot of my program talks about, you know, body control and swinging with your core. Well, Ichiro would practice hitting homers in BP, swinging with his core. That's what he was doing. It was core swing practice. It ended up being homer practice because I think he did like doing that just because he could. But at the end of the day, it was really more about holding his core together and making sure he could move through whatever they threw. He could swing through spin, he could swing through velocity, because he had elite hand-eye coordination, so if he was connected, it didn't really matter what was going on. So those are a few Ichiro thoughts. Congratulations, buddy, even though you probably don't remember me, to your Hall of Fame induction. You treated me first class, except you didn't let me hold your bat that one day, but I understand. It was great to be around you on the coaching side. You were professional, and I love throwing BP to you, and I'll never forget it. Congratulations again.